Oh, wow.
Saw it twice, so I was like, oh my god.
That was just weird.
I always used to see a light coming up,
Yeah.
like a headlight, but there was nobody there.
Oh, it's just disappeared.
Hello everyone, hope you've all had a great weekend. I've had a busy one, but I'm not complaining, and I'm sure everybody else is the same. You're looking forward to work next week. Tonight, I'm going to bring Jack on and Ian. Ian were on with us a few weeks ago, if you remember, but the team that visit with me onto those cliff tops, because we've had a little bit of an occurrence, and I'm not going to steal anybody's thunder. I'll wait till I bring them in before we talk about it. But really interesting. I think a step in right direction. Let's put it this way when you hear what happened. And let's just have a look who's in chat before we actually get to that. And we've got Andy H, Shadows and Sightings. Don't forget, guys, get over to his YouTube channel and have a look on that, because it's a great channel. Mike Darling, Thudder, Susan Wiseman, Mel Suter, Tom Waters, good to see you, Tom, Tino, Patrick Daniel, Mag Sue, Gareth Dixon. Let's have a look. Ian, we know Ian Lynn is in, so we're not going to say hello to Ian because he's coming. Gareth Murphy, Mrs. Linney, Mia Girl, Donna Wellham, Awake, and let's have a look. Michael Waters, Rick Bennett, Stargaze Returnal, Dragonborn will be in. Good to see you, Dragonborn, as always. Gemma's doing moderating. I think Lee will be doing it. Hopefully Alison will as well. Jonathan Chapman, Pezza. Hi, Paul. Hi, Pezza. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring Jack in. I'll bring Ian in a moment. And yeah, let's just see where this leads us. Remember, we want your questions in capital letters, because this might not be close encounters as such, but we've had a little touch of something really special in the last few days. So let's just bring Jack in. Hi, Jack. How are you doing?
Evening, Paul, and all the truth proofers out there.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? We're going on for 200 people already, and it's brilliant to have support.
Excellent.
We'll get Ian. You all right, Ian?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Ian.
Well, do you know, I couldn't have done Sunday nights. I mean, I'd have loved all group of us in here, to be honest with you, tonight, if possible, and the guy that had an experience when we left, which we'll come to, who weren't even part of our group and contacted me next morning. And we passed his car on road out, but we'll get to that. So we are gonna play around edges of it for a little bit, and we'll lead you into it. You know, but what do you think? It was Friday night, so there's a group of us up there, isn't there, guys? There's 7 people. What were different about Friday night? Anybody?
The only thing I can think of is, which we did speak about when it happened, was when there's quite a few of us there, we seem to scatter about a little bit. And on that particular time, we was all, well, one in a circle as such, but was very close to each other and was all talking as a collective together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other thing I picked up on, everybody had a very, I'm not saying they don't normally have a positive vibration, but everybody was jolly, and it was good banter. It was friendly, and it was a good tight little circle we had collectively.
Yeah, I would agree. It was a great group of people. So just to recap, then we've got Jack, Ian, myself, what's his name? Mark came up. Chris Mack came up.
Mack, yeah.
And there were 7 of us, weren't there? So we got Michael came up. So was the Pete? Obviously, Pete.
Yes, Pete, obviously.
And but there's 7 of us, and like you said, everybody were in good spirits. We've gone up there now for years. I've gone up for years and years. Ian's been going up years. You've been going on for 6 months, Jack, since you've moved here, and we've been good friends before that.
Yeah, 5 years before, like 5 years in total, but every time for the last 4 to 5 months. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been a regular up there, haven't you? And I don't think we've all had strange experiences up there. We know that the phenomena's there. Everybody in that group's had them. And
Yeah.
Interestingly, Ian, Jack, two members of that group have had experiences just about on first time they've come up with us, haven't they? So let's jump into those experiences, like Chris Max with the light, and then Michael's.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Michael, I mean, what he saw something at Danes Dyke, which you're going to do later on, and you have covered a little bit. But what happened on Friday, I mean, I'd said to Michael earlier on in the night, because he was on about how come some people seem to see a lot more things than others, and why is that, happening? And my take for that was, well, how I see it is the more you see, the more potentially you will see. And I said that to Michael earlier on, and he went, yeah. And then he told us about something that had happened a little bit earlier on in the day.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, what happened later on, it was like, well, you said it might happen, and something did. And what we're going to talk about is, I believe, and on that, it was something pretty special.
It was, weren't it? And you think
absolutely.
So, yeah,
absolutely, without a shadow of doubt. I think, speaking to most in the group since that evening, we've all thought about it a lot, collectively, individually. It's never been far, certainly from my mind, and I know yourself and Ian, Mac, which I've conversed with. And it's astonishing, really.
Well, I'm hoping he's going to be in. Only person that I would have loved to have been there was Jeremy, and because he deserved to experience what we experienced.
Yeah.
Some of you guys are going to listen to this and think, well, what? That's not really out special, but you'd have had to have been there. So somebody run with it. Go on, Jack. Ian, break it down for us. Let's get into this.
Well, do you want me to start? If you want me to start with it,
shall I say
how the conversation started with? Well, I don't think he'll mind, and if he does, I'm sorry. When Michael, he'd come here quite a bit earlier, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Am I all right? Am I all right to cover this?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, he'd come quite a bit earlier, and he'd had a run around the area. He'd been to various places. One of the places was Rusden Monolith, and he'd been there, and he says he's been there before. This time he went, he touched a stone. It didn't feel any different to what it had done before. There was no one else about in the grounds of the church. So he went and he stood in the corner of the churchyard, which overlooks the main road that runs through Rusden. And he said he was just looking across into the distance where there's a set of gates that goes into a bit of a wooded area. And he said, I'm just there with my thoughts thinking, I wonder what's the other side of there. And he said on his left-hand side, top to bottom, he said he went icy cold. He said it was an ice cold feeling right through him. And he said then a woman, softly spoken, I might be wrong here, one of you two fellows will pick me up if I'm wrong, but said the words to the effect is, beware the witches.
Watch out for the witches.
Watch out for the witches.
And he says that was straight in his ear, softly spoken. He said he looked around really quick, nobody there. And he says, now that did it for me. He said, I was away. He said, I got in my van and I disappeared. He went elsewhere. And he said, shook him a little bit. And he told us about this story on the cliff tops. And this is when I'd said to him, well, the more you see, potentially, the more you will see. And then as the night went on, there's been a military exercise going on here for several weeks now. There's a big transport that's flying around and around and around. And then there's a smaller, Jack's more versed in what these aircraft are.
Jack can break the aircraft down for us, can't he, a little bit?
If you want to tell us about what these aircraft are, Jack, and what potentially they are doing.
As you guys got there slightly before me, and as I'm walking down the path towards you, I see an A400 Atlas heavy lift aircraft flying over Bridlington Bay. And when I got to you, I mentioned, he says, yeah, it had literally just got there as you were getting there. And then probably about half an hour, maybe it's a bit more, the Shadow R1 intel gathering aircraft started doing circles, kind of a little bit more inland than the A400, but that's not normal on a Friday night at all, is it, guys? We don't often see any military aircraft on a Friday night, and we all know the RAF don't work on weekends, so I don't know what they were doing then. So that in itself was unusual to see them two aircraft. And the A400, in actual fact, was there probably an hour and a half, went back to Leeming, and then came back again, didn't it? And when we left at 11:30, they were both still flying around.
Yeah.
Certainly. So unusual occurrence for them.
And you have to say, we aren't going into any detail. You've got a bit of experience when it comes to aircraft and
yeah, I mean, I did over 12 years in the Air Force. And like I said, I can't ever remember work, and certainly not flying in an aircraft on a Friday night. But I know it does happen, but it was unusual for us on the cliffs.
So basically, we set our cameras up. You've heard us talking about these little night vision cameras. We set about 5 of them up, and it weren't the best of nights weather-wise. And help me out here, guys. I think about probably 9:15, it started to rain.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
9:15. Yeah. 9:15, it started to rain, and it was actually my idea, because we don't know how good they are in water. I mean, they're not really expensive, but you still don't want to ruin equipment unnecessarily. So I said, I think we ought to put these cameras away, which we did. We put them all away. The rain got heavier, because we'd been up there a little bit earlier than we usually do. We was talking among ourselves, well, is it worth us just packing up and going home?
We went early for Michael, didn't we? Because
it's a shame, because he's travelled a long distance. He's way up in Northumberland. So I said, well, should we give it 10 minutes? And then within that 10 minutes, it had cleared. And unfortunately, we didn't put the cameras back out. But anyway, it is what it is. Hindsight is a brilliant thing, isn't it? So the night just went on pretty steady away. And then when I'm looking over to down towards Danes Dyke is, in that area to the south, where one of the cameras had been set up, and on the back of these cameras, when they're running, there's a little blue light that just flickers on and off. Until the memory card's full, then it's a solid blue light. I looked towards the edge of the railings, and I could see a little blue light flickering. And I thought, well, someone set the cameras back up, or they'd forgotten to take a camera away. So I walked further towards where it was, and I could see there wasn't a camera, and I shouted out, "Oh, has someone put a camera back out?" And everybody's reply was, "No, they're all tucked away." So I walked right up to the railing, no camera, no blue light, nothing. Which I saw it. There was definitely a little blue light flickering away. And then maybe 20 minutes later, I'll let you pick up on that, Paul. The rest of it, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know whether how long after you seen the blue light, which you commented on, so everybody knew you'd seen this. I'm stood next to Mark. Mark's arrived, so I'm not sure how long after the blue light. And I looked down and I saw a flash of light. And remember, these are single witness sightings. Ian's is, mine is. It must have been at the other side of the cliff. Well, they're over 200 foot, so there's nobody down there, because it cast a shadow. You could see the slats of the railings, of the fencing. Nobody saw it except me. So then I just voiced that I'd seen this flash of light, nothing else. And we're all just round there then, just talking in general, sometimes a bit of dark humor, but just talking in general. And like Jack said, it's a good atmosphere. So what do you think? What happened then, Jack?
So I'm standing in the corner of the platform, and I'm kind of just opposite you. And I quite clearly hear you say, well, I quite clearly, first of all, hear Ian say, "Oh, as somebody left the camera out, I see a blue light." He then walks to the fence, and of course, there's no camera, as Ian said. And to be honest, Paul, I don't think it was a long time after Ian pointed his light out. You said, "Oh, there's a light."
Yeah.
And I'm standing opposite you, and I turn, and obviously I didn't see anything. And again, can't be more than 5 or 10 minutes after that, because I think collectively we agree the incident happened between 9:30 and 9:45, didn't it? In that time span, would you agree, guys?
The first one, yeah.
Thereabouts, yeah.
And then I'm kind of looking down on the floor, and then I see this. Was it an orb? Was it a sphere? I don't know. It was a very bright object, circular, and Chris said about the size of an apple, and I would agree. I said a tennis ball originally, but it was kind of a little bit bigger than a tennis ball. Brilliant, bright white, but not much illumination other than the light. And to me, and I think all of us have a different perspective of seeing it. It kind of started in the center, went towards Ian, turned and swiveled past Ian, in between Ian and Pete, and then just disappeared. That was my first. That's what I saw. So it's up to you guys how you saw that first episode.
Well, I'm looking towards Ian as well. So you know where we're going with this, guys, now, don't you, listening to this? Because you're probably thinking, come on, get on with it. I saw the light. It was off the ground. It appeared within us all, within the circumference of us all. Ian's hand lit up slightly. I saw Ian's hand sort of light up, and then it had gone. And I don't think it flew away in this instance. Not the first time, it had gone. But make no mistake, people, we were visited by something. But give us your take on this, Ian.
Well, I just saw it light up, sort of like round my like round my belly, and then on the floor, and it just shot off to my left because I was facing you lot. It shot off to my left towards Pete, where the railing is. If you can imagine how this area is set out, it's like a horseshoe shape.
Yeah.
And both sides of it are all railed off, and the centre of the horseshoe is on the left-hand side. It's full of weeds. And this is where Pete was stood, and where our bags was all on the bottom of the railings. The whole back of Pete lit up, the back of the railing lit up, and the bags, you could see the bags lit up. And then it was gone, and then we was all like, effing hell, what was that? Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it.
And it weren't a torch beam that came from anywhere. No. It's difficult for you guys. I don't mean to understand, because you might have seen and experienced even more dramatic or incredible stuff, but it weren't. And if you put a torch on, because we tried loads of little different ways, that a torch just spread the beam, and it even a tight beam, it illuminated the area, all of us. This didn't.
Yeah.
It's very localized, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very localized.
It was the orb itself that had the illumination and casting very little illumination out, but it did have some. Yeah. And as you said, Paul, we tried torches in our pockets. We tried different people who have different torches. We tried various different ways of trying to experiment to see what it was, and none of them come close.
No, they really don't. We tried everything, didn't we? And we were blown away by it. And this, and we've not done yet. We're not just going to talk about that one incident, but it might not sound like much, but here I am saying it, and I think Ian thinks the same, and I think you do, and I reckon all other four people with us. Something visited us. It were definitely that feeling I got. So how did it pan out from there then?
To be honest, guys, I don't know how long between the two incidences. I don't think it was very long. Am I right?
Between the light I saw and the light.
No, the two ones we all saw.
No, there's definitely at least 15 minutes between them. That might not seem a long time, I suppose, because what I did, and we've just got about 2 minutes of it to play to you guys, and you're not going to see footage. What I did, God knows why we didn't put cameras on. We've all said it. What I did, I put the psionics on and recorded us talking about what had
that's right.
happened.
That's
so
right.
there were 15 minutes, which I've just given. I'm going to put a minute on and the footage is just aiming at the floor, people. So don't expect to see how dramatic. So
I think that the fact that why I think it was a short period of time was, and we all were intensely excited by it, in awe by what we just witnessed, and there was so much banter and trying to debunk what we'd just seen, that it was somebody with a torch, but it wasn't. And then lo and behold, it materializes again in a similar place to me, but this time again it went in between Ian and Pete, but me and Mac saw it go the other side of the fence, and light up that piece that Ian's just described, the center of the horseshoe, which is just nettles and then disappeared again.
You see,
I don't know what
you make a good point there, or Ian did earlier. Because we're in a circle, we're all getting a different perspective of it. You know, somebody to my left is looking across, and that's why I'm not going to see what Ian saw with Pete or you necessarily. But yeah, go on, Ian.
Well, the first thing I saw with that is straight away. I didn't. Chris Mack was on my right hand side, slightly behind me, and Pete was on my left hand side, and I saw Pete was light up. It was like from his waist upwards. There was just like a flash, and then woof, it was gone, and then everyone's shouting again. You know, what the F was that type of thing, but unfortunately, Pete didn't see it this time.
No.
And I don't think Mark did. So I think there was 4 of us, me, you, Jack, and Chris Mack saw it.
Yeah.
But Pete didn't see it. And I don't know whether Michael didn't see that, because people was maybe stood in the way. I can't speak for Michael. I'm not sure.
What I saw, this light, and that was I got the better view of it than the first time. It hit Chris Mack, like Jack's just said, apple-sized orb of light hit him in the stomach. It obviously didn't feel it, didn't go like that. He didn't even know it had hit him in the stomach, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it. Bang, it was there in his stomach. As that's happening, as fast as it's happened, Chris is saying that it's hit Pete's hand, and he said, what did he say his exact words? Pete's hand were?
He said it lit up.
Yeah, it was glowing.
Glowing.
Yeah, but he said it was like some Iron Man, an Iron Man fist.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So it were moving. It were on the move. I mean, just before we came on, because Jack was saying, because it was sharp. It were a sharp, bright light, but didn't sort of diffuse out to become more. And that were the kind of movement. And if that makes any sense, to me anyway, we might all have seen it different, but this, I can't stress it enough. This were a real visitation from something that were nothing to do with any of us. Prior to anything happening, I'd disappeared. We need to add that as well, haven't we? I'd gone up onto clifftops and I sat on my own and I tried to meditate a little bit. But I'm not saying that's anything. But we were in a good mindset that night, weren't we?
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I know.
absolutely.
One thing is, you couldn't get it. You at the time, you kept saying, "How did it do that? How did it bounce off Chris and then go onto Pete?"
Yeah,
you kept going. I mean, yeah, I don't.
Oh, it had got me perplexed. I just couldn't work it out because prior to this, guys, and we know that you've all listened to people talking on Truth Proof about what happens up there. Ian, Jack, everybody else. We've seen little flashes of light in grass. We've seen flashes that have been caught on film, as you know, where it's just gone white. And we've not even noticed it until we've looked through the film. So everybody's seen these flashes of light. Probably 4 weeks before Chris Mack and Darren were up on the cliff tops, they saw a little light, size of a watch face, just light up off the ground. It's almost like it's building up to summer.
Guys,
You
can I
see,
just, while I remember, point something out that the time Darren a few months ago had seen the triangle of light, which came apparent on Friday night, was when the day they saw that light, or Darren had, they had also visited Rudston Monolith prior to going to the cliffs, which had Michael. So is that just a pure coincidence? Who knows?
Well,
I think there's something special about the monolith, without a shadow of a doubt.
yeah, and it might just set your mind in right mood, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To experience things, we know we don't know, but there's got to be some ingredient. You know, me and Ian spoke about it earlier. What were we doing different that night? What were we talking about that were different? Maybe it could be none of these things, but there might be one key there that we're just overlooking because it was special. It weren't somebody's imagination. 7 people as a collective realised that what they'd seen. Mark's very quiet. He doesn't normally say much at all. I hope he's in chat. I did ring him beforehand to.
I was really pleased for Chris Mack and Michael, because Michael's travelled. You know what I mean? He has his own experience before, but to actually for him to see someone up there twice, it was. I think it was twice, definitely once. I felt really happy for him as well as for Chris Mack that they spent that much time coming up there. I know Chris and Darren had their own experiences. And the other thing is to mention is Darren turned up a little bit earlier with us that night, but just as it was getting dark, he said he wanted to be on his way because he was going to potentially go to Whitby. And we all said that, it's a shame that he'd missed it. If he'd have stayed, he'd have seen it. But he did come back later on when we was just literally about to pack up when Darren turned up again, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, the only thing that I don't mean we're going to get criticism for not filming it. So, and I'm as guilty as anybody. You know, we'd got 5 of those low light cameras with us. We'd got 3 Psionics cameras. We should have had cameras up after that happened. But I think as Eds were that mashed with what we'd just experienced, because we got one that were good. You know, I don't class that little flash of light that I saw anything like what followed. But we got one that were good. Then we got one that were even better. And it really threw me, to be honest.
And there was only you that had the sense to get your psionics out. I'd put my psionics and my thermal away to protect them from the weather, even though they are waterproof. But again, it's with hindsight, we should have got all them little cameras out, set them all up. I think what we need to do in the future is maybe put them a little bit further back.
Absolutely.
So we're in focus as well as the background. So then if anything does come close in and interacts again, hopefully we'll catch it. But
I filmed with the Psionics for over 15 minutes, but not to film for something to happen. Quite honestly, I never expected the second one happening again, but just shows unexpected.
Guys, we are missing something. There was 3 events of light.
They were. I'm glad you've said that, Jack. There were 3. There were 2, and then because when I turned the Psionics off, because I thought, right, I've got everything I need. I just wanted some audio of people's reactions. So we'll play a minute and a half of that in a moment. It's all jumbled up. There's a Psionics, and there's a bit of wind and a bit of adverse weather, so you're not going to get clarity when you listen to this. But there's something else as well, Jack. But go on with third one.
Yeah, so there was clearly 2 incidents where it started in the middle and went between Ian and Pete. And the second one of those incidents was where me and Max saw it appear. It was on the platform side, and then the next thing you saw, it was in the dead ground behind in there. That's the second instance. The third incident I missed because I had to go and relieve myself. And then all of a sudden I hear you shout. And that's when it hit Chris in the chest, which he didn't see.
It hit him in his stomach, actually.
In the stomach. He didn't see that, but saw it light up Pete's hand.
That's correct.
But Pete didn't see either.
No.
And you Ian, saw it. You, Paul, saw it. Michael did see it because they were saying that it had a little bit of a bluey tinge to
That's
that
right.
one.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, so there was definitely clearly 3 incidents.
Yeah, you're
on
right.
that
You're right.
Yeah.
Big incidents.
And then you said, who spoke? What did you said? Go on.
I was certain at some point. I had a voice in my ear saying, "Excuse me." I think it was "Excuse me." I'm almost certain it was "Excuse me." And you said you'd heard something, but you couldn't make out exactly what it was. And you, Ian, said, "What did you hear?" I said, "Somebody said, 'Excuse me,'" which, that's what I heard.
And you heard it in your ear. So do you think that at this time, remember the footage we're going to play now is not meant to be, well, it's not meant to be, when you see it, you'll know it's not of any quality. It will merely to collect people's bit of garbled audio from the night. So shall I just play that now?
And it was you collected people's thoughts, because people were just saying, listen, in my opinion, it fried our minds. It was really so personal to the 7 of us.
Yeah.
And we were gobsmacked.
So we'll just play this. Don't expect any great quality here, people. And you listen hard, because it's not easy to listen to.
What? Did you hear it?
No camera on. I put camera on for 10 minutes after first time, and then turned it off, and it happened again. There were a brilliant white light on Chris's stomach. Chris saw it light Pete's hand up, as bright as oat. Well, saw that, you, Ian?
Yeah, I saw it on Pete.
Then we were all of us, Mark as well. We all, so 7 people, just all saw a big white light just come amongst us. I saw it where you stood first,
I didn't know whether it was.
but only me saw it.
Thinking that.
And then all of us saw it. But it weren't like a dim light. You couldn't mistake it.
Everybody was here, wasn't it?
It was just a big, bright, sharp white light, but it didn't light out up, did it? As regards, it weren't like a torch beam.
Yeah, just side the fence, didn't it? The second one.
Like it behind the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it didn't to me. It was here. It literally looped round.
You look round here, didn't it?
Yeah.
And of all the places on here, where I'll study, the one over there, or up there, in and amongst us.
Yeah.
What was that about? Why would
I don't know.
Why would it here? Why wasn't it teasing us at the top of that hill over there? Why would it
actually just here? Yeah, I agree. The first time it were on you.
Behind you. Yeah, I saw it behind the fence.
But it kind of did a loop. But I'm so pleased we all. I'm glad you saw it, Michael, because you know what I mean. Would you? Come on, do it again. It makes you feel like there's someone watching you, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on, let's get this right though. Tonight, just you saw a little blue light, a little spark of blue light, probably half an hour ago.
Yeah.
I stood here again, Mark, and I said I saw a light down here.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah.
But there only me saw that. And then we've all seen these 2 flashes of light. I think that's great, to be honest with you.
Like we've all seen it.
Yeah. You couldn't deny that. I mean, we saw the first one, and I don't know who saw it as well. Who else saw the first
I saw
one?
the first one, yeah.
Yeah. But
I saw the first one. 6 of us saw the first one. Mark didn't see the first one, did he? But Mark saw the second one.
Yeah.
So then
there's 7 people seen it. I sound silly almost, but I'm saying, come on, do it again. Do it again. So we turned the camera off, and as Jack says, it did it again. Why didn't I leave the camera on?
Yeah.
But the other thing as well that I think is reasonably important to mention, I mean, it might not mean anything to anybody because, unfortunately, it was only us there and people in the chat weren't there. But nearly at the same time, me and Jack, we both said thank you.
Yeah, we did.
It was definitely something special.
And I don't know about you guys, but I don't think it felt negative, really, did it?
No.
No, I had no negative feelings whatsoever.
No. So we kind of covered that, but then we talked. there's probably going to be some questions, so we'll have a scroll down in a minute. But let's just pull back to this voice that you heard, because when Jack said he heard it, I'm actually filming, so you can clearly hear Jack say, "What was that? Did somebody just say something?" And if that were in your ear, because I said I think I heard something, but I couldn't hear what it was. I listened to the audio, obviously, when I've looked back at this footage, and I've picked something out. Now, what did you think it said, Jack?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. So remember, once again, I'm no great person with audio, but here we go. And the picture that's accompanying it, that's the moon that's rising on the horizon. Now, there's only 4 people. That were actually taken the other night, the night after. But in picture how that we're stood there, and picture 6 or 7 people stood like that. So shall we play that, Ian?
Yeah, good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, go on then.
What was that?
This is this little torch I've just.
But does it make a noise?
No.
I just thought I heard.
I thought that what you're saying.
I thought somebody said, "Excuse me."
Excuse me.
What was that?
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 Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
What did you just think?
Oh no.
What's that?
What did you just think you did?
Somebody say, "Excuse me."
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I did actually hear something.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the words as such.
It was like, "Excuse me," very close to my ear.
So I don't know. Could you actually hear that, guys? Could you hear the little voice that did sound like "excuse me," or am I imagining it?
Certainly what I perceived it to be.
Yeah. So
it wasn't, obviously it wasn't in my head, because other people heard a noise. It was an external voice to me.
Yeah, and I can't go on, Ian.
The audio's clearly picked. It's picked a noise up. So if it was something that was really close in your ear, even you know what I mean, and you're trying to listen to it, you was the closest to it. So hence why you've heard it say "excuse me." But the audio proves there was something there, and it does sound like a man's voice, but softly. It was like softly spoken. It wasn't shouted, was it?
No. It was very softly spoken, without a doubt.
To be honest with you, because I listened to it quite a few times this morning when I just pulled it out of footage, it sounds American. It's weird. That's exactly what I thought. But obviously, people are going to listen to this afterwards, and you might be able to send it to your mate Jack and clean it up a little bit more. Because well, let's just jump to it. There's a question here that's not really, but we'll cover it. It's not really applying to what we talked about, but I know where it's coming from with Steve and about the skulls and the Rudston monolith and 18th century. Well, William Stokeland that found the skulls, Steve, and maybe something to do with witchcraft or maybe could be, yeah. Definitely some kind of sacrifice, I would think, or sacrificial worship. So let's just pull down a bit. We'll see if there's any more before we right. I hope these apply to what we're doing. Paul, can I ask Paul, that music at the start is amazing. Who does that? Jessica's done it. Jessica and Nick have done the music, and they were quite peed off with me, to be honest with you, because they sent it me to listen to and they were going to make it a lot better, and I just literally just added the images, the footage to it and those voices, so it will be better. I need to redo it really, Rick, but thank you. So that's Jessica and Nick.
That's your daughter, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, my daughter and her husband. Yeah, that, thanks. I'm glad you said that, because I should have done. Right, Alison's there. Thanks for joining us as well, Alison. It's always great to have your support. Anne Lee and Gemma, Mark Rhodes is in. We'll just go down. Let's have a look. There might not be any questions, but I would have thought there would have been. What's your thoughts on this, guys? What have we seen? Are we all imagining it? I know we're not. But right, let's have a look here. Right, Jill C. Paul, Ian, Jack, do you worry about the hitchhiker effect and possibly side effects from these lights? Thought about side effects from the lights, and I thought it was somewhat positive, Jill. But what's your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, no, had a positivity about that on that night, without a shadow of a doubt.
And maybe Jill's thinking about the inference of the lights, and maybe there could be something dangerous within this, because it hit Chris in stomach. That's how it looked to me.
Yeah,
I don't think there was, personally, I don't think there was anything at all negative about what happened. It really won't, because when we went back to the cars at the end of the night, I specifically asked everybody, what was your thoughts? And everybody said it was positive, it was good. And, it was. I mean, there's a lot of negativity that is up there, and sometimes it's up there a bit more than I'd like it to be, and everybody else would. But no, I'm going to say it again, and I'm like an old bloody record. It was somewhat special. It was special. Was the other
Agreed.
night? Definitely.
Agreed.
No,
Agreed.
I'm hoping that it might be start of building on something here. Do you know what I mean? We've just got to really concentrate on what we were thought process and what we were talking about. There's got to be an ingredient, unless it's just a turning point in what we're doing up there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not certain. Jill, just before we go from Jill's question, I know that I think that she's getting at even something that's good and feels positive could potentially, the actual light itself, have some ill effect on the human body. Maybe that's what you're meaning, Jill. So I hope not. That's all I would say, because it definitely weren't from any of us, and there were no external source that we could see where this light came from. So thank you,
and it
Jill.
definitely wasn't in the infrared spectrum either. It was visible light.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I thought you were going to say something. And before we go to the next question, when we left, because Ian's talked about, we got the opinion of all of us before we left. When we left the car park and we get onto Cliff Lane, the highest point on Cliff Lane, there's a car parked up. I'll not say what kind of car it is, because he might not want us to label car, but we knew instantly who it was. There's a guy who goes up there called Paul. He never comes onto clifftops with us, but an great guy. His job is to go all over the place, Iceland or wherever he can go, other countries, filming Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. And he were up there, and he stood at the back of his car with his camera, and he's hoping to catch a glimpse of this amazing spectacle. And we all just drove past, not ignoring him, but we just drove past. We were on his way. We'd been there since just after 7. So next morning, I've got a message from him. He's contacted me, because we have stopped in the past and we have had conversations. He says, something strange happened last night. I said, and I've rang him actually. I were hoping he were going to be in chat. I intended ringing him on my phone and going like that for him to tell you, but might not happen. He said, something strange happened last night. I said, what's that? Bearing in mind he knew nothing about what we'd just seen. And what would he be? 3/4 of a mile away from where we were?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So he said, just after you lot went, he says, all the vehicles left me. He said, I got back in my car, and he's there with his partner, with his wife. He said, and I became aware in the darkness of something humming above the car. He knew about the aircraft. He knew that with a lot of aircraft activity, so we're not hearing the drone of an aircraft that's slowly coming towards us. He says it's a humming sound. He says, and I thought, it's right above my car, this, because it's pretty much static. Opened the car door, looked up, there's nothing there. And you hear this humming. Then he looks over into the field, and there's a white light in the field, he says. We'd not seen no white lights in fields. That's what he's telling me. Gets back in the car. His wife jokingly said it'll be the werewolf coming to get you, because he's heard me talking about these strange things that have been seen, and that would standing joke with him. So I'm not going to lie, that's what she'd said to him, and or she maybe said it just before. Actually, she said it before he got out of the car, as he's getting out. It'll be the werewolf coming to get you, which obviously there's no cryptid sighting or anything. So he's heard the humming. He's seen the white light in the field. He said then the ground just went and lit up. Now, where we heard that before. We've and this guy knew nothing about what we'd just seen and experienced from what would you say, between 9:30 and 9:45 till 11:15. And so that's just an interesting one in itself. And if you're in, Paul, just you don't have to write a book, but just back us up. Well, he can write a book, because as fast as I'm writing in a paragraph, I get like a book of writing from him. So if you're in, give us your take on it. So have I said that wrong? That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
that's
but
pretty much it.
the other thing that happened a few weeks back was a Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think there was me, you, Carl and Sarah, and my wife Elaine. And we had a similar sort of thing, but nowhere near as intense, when there was a light popped up on the decking at Carl's feet, and we thought it was a torch that Carl had turned on, and he was adamant he wasn't. When Sarah was leant on the railing towards the middle of the decking in a horseshoe shape, I saw a little sparkle of light, which I thought was underneath her face, but she never saw it at all, so it must have been slightly behind her. And then what we all saw on Carl had his hands nearly onto his chest, and there was a little light, and his hands lit up. And it's like, what's that? And he says, "Why I'm done now?" At the time, we didn't know what he had in his hands, but he'd just got his thermal camera out of his pocket, and Carl was quite, animated, and says, "It's not me. It's not even turned on." And then when he turned his thermal, he said, "I'll show you. It really isn't me. It's not me equipment." When he turned his camera on, the first thing that came on was a slight green glow from the powering up situation. And then there was just the light from the eyepiece, so like a monochrome glow, which, again, it was clearly not what we'd seen. This quite a bright light, but nowhere near as the intensity as what we'd seen on Friday.
No.
So, again, it's nearly in the same position, definitely the same area. But is it building?
Do you know, you've just took the word out of my mouth. The building, I was just about to say, and I bet Jack thinks same, it's building. Right from when Heidi and Jenny was here, and Carl and Sarah, and we were up there in thick mist, thick fog, it was dense, and you wouldn't have thought, what's the point in going up there if you're trying to experience something?
Yeah.
And there were flashes of light in the mist, weren't there? Can you remember?
It was all over us, wasn't it? Because the first time it happened, everybody saw it but my wife. My wife didn't see anything, and you saw one right behind my wife. And eventually, I think a couple of nights later, whatever, my wife did see one, which she was quite pleased about, because she says, she's come home, she says, everybody's seen it but me. What's wrong with me, type of thing. But the other thing is, on the night that we saw the little lights on Carl and Sarah, my wife had said to me she did some rustling in the middle. And I think we've mentioned this before. We did some rustling in the middle of the sort of like the horseshoe shape. I said it's possibly a rat, because we get quite a bit of wildlife and whatever mooching about up there. But then a bit later on, she says, "Well, yeah, don't forget, I heard that rustling, but I saw something." I went, "What? What do you mean you saw something?" And then she explained it to me. She said she saw it out corner of her eye, and she looked, and she saw something that was the size of a child, really low, that moved across. But she said it had like a bald head. And it just went, she says, 2-3 seconds, and it was gone. And I said to her, "Why didn't you say something?" She says, "Well, you was all talking, and I didn't want to interrupt you." But again...
But that bringing that back is, when I heard the story of Carl, because I wasn't there that night, it brought me back to the beginning when I started coming up there in May time, and Paul saw a light on my chest.
Yeah,
he
that's
said,
right.
"Well, have you got your phone on?" And I hadn't, and it was definitely a light on my chest, but I didn't see that.
It's fascinating. I mean, obviously, we don't have to be Einstein to work it out, but these lights seem to be appearing on people's bodies, hands more than anything.
Yes.
You've got Pete's hand glowing. I saw it on your hand, Ian, earlier. We've seen it on Carl's hand. What's it? What's the communication process here? What's it or whatever them? What is it? And it's I don't feel embarrassed saying that, because we were visited.
Guys, we remember, as humans, we communicate by shaking hands, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, that's an important part of us greeting each other, shaking hands and touch. So could it be related to that?
Yeah,
Hugging.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Which
I
you
like
all
to
love.
shake hands.
Yeah.
Jack likes hugging you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
there's
hooker.
nothing. You all love it. You in particular, Ian.
So let's have a look at this. Jane says, "How did the blue light make you feel?" I didn't see the blue tinge to it. I think it was Michael and go on, Chris. What it?
Chris, I think, yes, said
Yeah.
it was blue. I didn't see blue. I saw white. You, Ian?
Well, if this is relating to the blue light before, it was such a
good point.
tiny little flashing light that just to me, I just thought it was the camera, and there was no feeling at all. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. I was just more surprised that when I walked up, there wasn't a camera there. But earlier on, what Chris saw and what we all saw, but Chris and Michael, they said it was white with a blue tinge.
So Deb Shaw says, more and more your experience are sounding like fairy sightings or the fae. Yeah, I would agree that there's a lot of elements there, Deb, to what we're seeing and what people describe as the fae, and the lights in the grass, the light, the little flashes, the little sparks of light that we're seeing around us. But it's building now. It's definitely building, and I'm quite excited about where this is going. I hope I'm not coming next Sunday and saying, I'm frightened to death. But anybody?
Well, I asked you before, didn't I? Is it somewhat mimicking something? I know we've mentioned mimics before, but the little blue thing was where one of them cameras had been half an hour before, 3/4 an hour earlier, in the same area. That's again, it's some stuff I've seen and we've experienced. Is something that just blend into the normal, and then.
But you've also got regarding mimic, Ian. That night, me and Pete heard Paul shout something. That was. I would have put that down as Paul's voice.
And I were away. I were down the cliffs.
You were, yeah.
He's got and there's an intelligence there, guys. We had a doubt. I don't know on what level, but me and Pete heard it say Paul between us. And Pete, for them that don't know, his broad Barnsley accent, and he went, "Did thou just hear that? It said the name." Do you know? And I says, "Yeah, it did," and we both heard it. So Tino, good to see you, Tino. The orb smashing into the belly sounds like an aggressive gesture. Didn't feel like that though, Tino, but I see where you're coming from, because it did just bang and it lit up. But he were looking from opposite side. I'm looking at him here. He's looking across, and he said it hit Pete and lit Pete up, and his hand were glowing. It's nuts. It's something to be talking about, this, guys, isn't it? And there'll be people rolling their eyes, but you had to be there to experience this. Any views? Anybody? So we'll keep going down, because let's have a look. Jane's got something here. Let's have a look at this. Looks like the RHE platform at Bempton, or am I getting mixed up? It's the new roll up, isn't it? That where we were stood.
Yeah.
It's where we stood, Jane, when you came up with George and Mark. And I hope you're going to come up again this year. It'd be good to see you all. So let's have a look. Right. Mike Canetti. Yes, we do, Mike. And do you know something? We didn't have them with us. Do you guys have radiation detector of some sort, Paul? I've got a Geiger and I've got a radiation detector. So and we've got EMF meters. And I think Mark actually contacted me earlier. And said he's just picked an EMF meter up as well. So do you know something, Mike? Because I probably wouldn't have thought of it for the next time we come up, but they'll be charged up and ready to go. They're not little phone app ones, the decent ones. So we'll get them in place. But you kind of worry to yourself, but I suppose you've got to look after your health, that you're going to kill the phenomena by interfering with too much electrical equipment. But I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Why he did it? because the cameras was off.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
We turned all them cameras. What is there? Six cameras or whatever, static ones that we put up, and there was all turned off because of the rain.
Yeah.
We hadn't really thought of that. Well, I haven't really thought of that. Could it have been that?
It could have been.
Makes sense.
Well, I'll throw Zeno's question up in a moment. We just need to say that there were some vehicles up on cliff tops as well, but we're not talking about within 200 foot of us. We're looking at a good half a mile away, I reckon, down the cliffs. But we're in the middle at night on edge of cliff, and there were two vehicles up there, weren't they? They looked to me like they've got more than two headlights. They look like a bank of lights. I could be wrong. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Mark was looking at them through his binoculars, and he clearly could see someone had got out of one of them, and they had a torch in their hand and was mooching about. But they're on.
It's happened three or four times now, hasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that just could. We don't often see vehicles up there, and there's obviously a reason, isn't there? So Zeno says, "Hi Jack, wondering about the voice you heard. Was there any reverb? Maybe a mechanical stroke artificial voice?"
No, it sounded like a human voice standing talking next to me, without a shadow. There was no reverb, no artificial mechanical. It sounded a human voice.
And you're going to get it absolutely blown out with what I've done, because it was that minute. I've had to just lift the volume. Do you want to hear it again?
Do you want
put
it on again.
Yeah, go on then.
What was that?
This is this little torch I've just.
But does it make a noise?
No.
I just thought.
I thought that what you're saying.
I thought somebody said, "Excuse me."
Excuse me.
What was that?
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 Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. What did you just think?
What's
that?
What did you just think you did?
Somebody say, "Excuse me."
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I did actually hear something.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the words as such.
Yeah. It was like, "Excuse me," very close to my ear.
So, it's what, like Steve Ashbridge says, usually if you think you've seen it, you have, and usually if you think you've heard it, you have, and definitely something there, Jack.
Yeah.
Are we okay for a few?
Yeah, Jack. Lee's just said, "Can you turn your lighting up or something?"
Yeah, 2 seconds.
You're disappearing into the darkness.
Yeah.
One thing I've spoke to you a lot about it, and I've showed you the video. Well, a little bit of the video. While Zeno's just mentioned there about mechanical voices.
Yeah.
You remember me telling you about beginning of the year when I was walking through town? That
vaguely gone.
Big lad walking towards me.
Yeah.
I'm walking into town, and there was a big lump. I mean, I'm only a little fella, aren't I? But he was considerably bigger than me, and he's come walking towards me. I'm always aware of my surroundings, and I could see him. And when he got close, I looked at him, and he looked like he was a child. He had
you did say, yeah, I remember.
But in a man's body. I mean, he must have been easy 6'6", 6'7", a big fella. And he looked straight at me, and I looked at him, and I thought, he just looks a bit odd. And he looked at me, and he went, "Hi," and in a real funny voice, like,
he did. I remember this.
And I looked, and I just went, "Hello." And I thought, what the bloody hell was that? And I stopped, and I looked at him, and he walked off, and he had a carrier bag in his hand. So it played on my mind, and there's a shop along there that has CCTV, so I went into the shop, and I said to him, I says, "Do you mind if you can just rewind it and put, you know what I mean?" So I explained, I said, "Someone said hello to me, I'm not sure who it was." So there's no audio, but they're fair enough. They've rewound it, found a bit of footage, and you can see me walk past the shop, and you can see the size comparison. I'm here, this guy's up here. And you see me stop and like watching him walk off. And he does, and he walks off into the distance, so he didn't disappear or anything. But he just reminded me then, was Zeno saying, was it a mechanical voice? But it was literally like synthesized, like a...
Say it again. Yes, I'm going to say fate again.
Yeah, you're trying to get your own back now, aren't you, Jack?
Yeah. It sounds like
goes.
sounds a bit like you bumped into Blaster from the Thunderdome. But so right, let's have a look. So Steve Collins says, Defo said, "Excuse me." Yeah, I think there's definitely something there. I know we can, once we've said the word that we think it says, we can kind of bend it into that shape, maybe. But there's definitely a voice there. And there's Carl Dan saying, "Wow, thanks, Carl." And it's Carl who we were talking about earlier, who got the light on him, 3-4 weeks ago. So let's just keep going down. Let's have a look. We're probably not going to have loads of questions. I don't know what you guys think to this, because you've just heard 3 men, I don't know, 180 years experience between us talk about a light.
You two must be a lot older than me.
Yeah. Right. Was there any detectable? No noise that I heard, Andy.
None at all.
Nothing.
It was spectacular, Andy. I can't explain it. It was just, you've seen the footage that we've got. You've seen that orb that Ian managed to film. You've seen that stuff that I've got dropping through clouds. You've seen that flash of light that Jack managed to film. That there's, as a collective, there's loads of footage going back years. This was some kind of contact, I think.
Yeah.
We was touched by something.
Yeah.
I think we was touched. I mean, is it eventually sort of like, getting confident with us?
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting that Michael were up and he'd not been up for months, and it were great to have him there. I wonder if you had it, if not hypnosis, could you relive it and slow down time, as it were, to be able to spot anything else? And I wouldn't know, Factor. I really wouldn't know. But so should I say, Tim? It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to know. All we can say is watch this space. There's a lesson learned for me that those cameras will record literally for hours, and I've got 2 of them. So I'm going to have one of them and get the spare battery, and I'm going to have one of them high on a tripod, overlooking us instead of looking at the sky.
Yeah,
because the activity was
we've all had to reconcile with our own selves. Why did we not put the cameras out? Why did lots of things? We need to be doing this all the time.
We do. I mean, if I knew categorically, and we'll put Richard's question up because it relates to this, and we've all said it from time to time. Hi, Paul, do you reckon the fact that you put your cameras away is why it appeared? If I knew that, and I can't speak for Jack and Ian, but if I knew that, I'd put cameras away every time I went up.
I wouldn't take them up. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
But Richard, you make a good point. Maybe we should actually go up there without anything. See what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, I'm up for doing that. You, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And do you guys in chat, do you know why we go up armed with so much? Because we know we've experienced it, we know it's happening, and we actually want to produce something to show you guys. That's the reason I do it. I don't need the proof myself, because like what we saw the other night is proof. We don't know what it's proof of, but it's proof of something that's definitely unnatural to everything we know and understand. It's
a cherry on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we manage to, either visually or audio, get something to prove to the people, that's watching, that's brilliant. But we know what we've seen, and it's so much better when there's a collective of people who've all seen basically the same thing. We know what we've seen, and personally, if people think we're bullshitting, I'm sorry, I'm swearing there.
No, but you're spot on. We're not, and
no, we're not. Why would we? I mean,
so I don't know, Gail, man. If it's Mark who comes up with us, Mark's sister, do you ever feel fear? And I'm assuming it is Mark's sister, but I've felt it up there. Yeah, I've felt it. We had a doubt, extreme fear a few years ago. And I don't think it's dropped on Jack yet, but if it's
No,
Mark's
but-
sister, it's dropped on Mark, and it comes from nowhere. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you felt a little bit apprehensive the other night, which is very unusual for you, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah. I was sort of, I were really, really, a bit overwhelmed with what we'd seen, because I felt like it was definitely for us, but I specifically, I thought it was for one person up there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree.
And that's something that we maybe go into at some point, but not tonight.
Can you imagine, guys, how much, excuse me, how much energy as a collective we were giving off after the events?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
You know, mentally, spiritually, whatever, because of the excitement that was generated between us all.
Yeah.
You know,
It's certainly got us fired up. Let's just have a look here. Jan and Andrew. Someone about your voice here sounds like a posh Victorian bird watcher. Well,
Might be Jeremy.
It could have been Jeremy. I'm disappointed Jeremy didn't get to see that, but
Yeah, it's a shame.
yeah.
It's a shame.
I don't think we'll have time to cover this, Alicia. Do you think it could be reconnected to the 3-eye atlas? Me personally, I would say no.
No.
But I suppose there's a lot of things happening at the moment, and there's a lot of the world's stirred up, isn't it? Everybody's emotions are stirred up, and not necessarily with just we unexplained phenomena. So all that collective energy, it might just be it connecting with other things that we never expected. Let's have a look at this. Are we okay for 5 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah. All
Sounds
right.
like you had a positive experience up there, guys. Almost like a probe taking a look at these people who are always up there, looking at you, looking at it, enjoy it. Something. I would agree, Chris. I really would agree, mate.
Yeah, Chris, I would agree too.
And Chris, we're down probably, 3 weeks,
2 weeks ago?
previous? Yeah, I wish you'd have been
yeah.
down the other night, mate. You to have experienced that, because it was something.
I mean, Chris comes a considerable distance, doesn't he?
He does.
And
Yeah.
Similar to Michael.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have him up there. It's good. I mean, most of the time, 99% of the people that turn up there they're all good people, they're nice people, and they're all positive.
Yeah.
We're speaking from myself, and I think for us as a collective, we enjoy them coming up there. It's good.
We do, yeah. I mean, it's great. Scotch Mist. I promote the positive side of ancient witches. The lights could be spirit lights produced by witches. They are just curious and polite. Thank you. Yeah, okay. See, Dragonborn. She's just saying about Scotch Mist, she's not ancient, and you're not. Right. Let's have a look. Oh, we need a light on Jack. See how far behind we are with these questions, Lee. Sorry about that, people. Let's have a look. Yorkshire is the dome reference. Point to an Arctic. The dome reference. Have I missed the spot? I don't know. Sorry for not being with it, but I suppose. Right, Paul, do you know if there was something on that spot during World War II? I look out. Now, I wouldn't have thought so, Tony. I do know that 2 airmen from RAF Bempton, not on that spot, but over the cliffs, because there's a rope there, isn't there, guys? You can get down on a rope if you want to. Just in one spot. You won't want to go down it, by the way. It's really steep. But the fishermen, when fishing season opens up, there'll be a few that are brave enough and they go down. And I think it was 1960, 67 springs to mind that some personnel from RAF Bempton wanted to go swimming in that cove, and one lost his life, and then within 24 hours another one lost his life, which is probably not a mystery. It's just a tragedy, and they put barbed wire around it. I found it in an archive, but I'm not sure we were looking at ghosts. I don't know what we were looking at. And what's your thought? What it's spirit? What do you think? Any thoughts?
I mean, from my own point of view, I'm fairly spiritual anyway, and I don't think it was. I really don't know what it was, but it wasn't. Yeah. I don't think it was from that realm, but who's to know? But one thing I can say, and I've said it before, it wasn't malevolent or anything like that. It was something. It was something special. Was that?
Yeah,
Really?
I would agree. I would agree completely.
Yes, and like Deb's saying, with the Halloween, certain periods of year, a lot, not necessarily the energy and the collective thought from us, but from other people throwing it out there could evoke and promote other things to be seen. So, yeah, interesting. Let's have a look. I keep hoping we've run out of questions, guys. Sorry for saying that. Right, let's have a look. That did almost sound American. It really did, Davos. So some of you guys might want to listen to it again. I'm hoping Jack's got a mate who can do a little bit more with audio than me. And
clean it up.
Yeah, let's see if he can do it, because I only found that this morning. Then I've been in Scarborough most of the day. Let's have a look. Yes, it sounds like the phenomena is finally acknowledging it. Yeah, it's a move forward, Tino. I think it's acknowledged before, mate, but we've never had anything as up close and personal. It was just undeniable. Undeniable. And I know we spent an hour just three blokes talking about a light, but that's what we've done. Zeno, it's responding to a group of consciousness. The more people, the more with more attention, the feeling generates and the event. I don't know, reaching there. Yeah, but as a group, we were all in a positive sort of mood and putting it out there. I certainly was. That's why I disappeared on my own and just sat up on cliffs alone for I don't know, about 20 minutes, half an hour. But it's all good. It's all good. Let's have a look. We'll just go down these, and if there's anything else, Mark Sturdy, good to see you, Mark. I'm glad I've seen you in there, because I got a bit of a rollicking other week for not saying Mark were in. So, because she's a super fan, Mark's wife, Deb. She's truth proof, absolutely biggest fan. She will be sat there now with popcorn watching us. So brilliant.
She got a poster of you, Paul.
I think she has. One of us all now.
Well, that mask of your face.
Yeah.
That she put it on Mark.
She's probably has done. She's probably gazing wondrously into his eyes right now. Yeah. So, Mark, we'll have to get you up here with us this week. Let's have a look at sparks before we end this. Chalk and aquifers are conductors. Do you think there is a ley line nearby? Quite possibly. There's we're on what's called the Bempton Fault, and this is Mark, isn't it, Mark? So, this guy's really interesting. So let's have a look. Well, right, one more. Tim, what if it was a military? I hinted towards that. What if it was the military monitoring your activity and there was a radio frequency momentarily overlapped? Wasn't yours? What's that word going to be? Do you think overlapped? Wasn't yours? I don't know.
Wasn't yours, perhaps.
Yeah. But we looked at those vehicles on cliff tops. Odd times we'll see a vehicle from the farm, and maybe they're doing a bit of bird spotting in the summertime, because we've got this huge gannet colony. But this were in the darkness, and I did film them as well, by the way. I just couldn't see point in putting two vehicles driving along cliff tops up on a bit of footage for you guys tonight. So you take our words for that. Let's have a look. This is what question is it not a airman soldier the voice? I don't know.
No, it was never an American site up there, was it? It was always
no, it wasn't
a Royal Air Force site.
No. Right, let's have a look here. Skinwalker Ranch had interference too. Their voices came back. Okay. There's a lot of parallels. And not just drawing it to Skinwalker, but to a lot of places of high strangeness that are around the world, where you've just got so much variation of the unexplained occurring. I mean, this is a new one. It really is, isn't it? Let's have a look. No, we've just done that. Apologies. Is this a question even? Another great show tonight. Is there a last transmission this week, Paul? No, there won't be. Chris is on holiday, and I'll not get to do one. So thank you for saying that. We'll not get to last transmission this week. Chris is away at the moment. Let's have a look. We're okay for a minute, guys.
Yeah, all good this end.
On Skinwalker, it sensed their actions in advance. Yeah, well, I'll just say my little bit, and I'll give Jack and Ian what they think. But I think it knows everything we're going to do in advance. Personally, everything. It's predicting our moods and our moves. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's way in advance of what we are, and it knows what we're thinking, even, and what we're talking about.
Yeah. And
I definitely think it knows what we're talking about, because with different EMF meters and whatever in the past, we have had reactions and responses. But again, who's to know? You know what I mean? Who is to know really what it is? I mean, could it have been like a little Tinkerbell thing? You know, the Fae. What? I'm just baffled by it. Baffled by it.
Tony D, Paul question. Is it worth investing in a drone capable of doing psionics camera to assess lights, etc.? Well, a night vision drone. And it's up there, I think, on them cliff tops. It's a no drone zone. I don't know whether that applies when seabirds have left, guys. So that's something to look into, I suppose. But I think
some nights it's so windy you couldn't fly a drone anyway, could you?
And you're spot on, and you wouldn't want to put it over them cliffs really, because there's so. If you walk about in summer, not on Bempton cliffs, but on the even lower ones further down, they're up and down on thermals with little paragliders and what have you. So a drone don't fare well in them sort of. It's like uplift in it. There's a lot of draft. Updraft.
I think even if we could, would upset people. We really would upset people. I mean, the RSPB and the other people, you know, once they got sniff of that we was doing anything with a drone, they won't be happy about it.
No, we try to keep it all as well as sort of legal as we can anyway. Right, last question.
We've always got owls and bats flying around nearly every night, haven't we? So
you have the bats more than we do, Jack.
No, listen to him.
I like you.
Right. Phoenix, search Bluetooth. How many find nearby? I don't know about that. So I don't know what that one means, to be honest. I thought the voice sounded Irish. Anyone else? It'd be interesting for your feedback, guys. Say next week or drop it in comments what you think to that voice. We will. Have I sent it you, Jack? I don't think I have I?
You have, yes, you did.
I'll send it, Jack. So Jack's friend will have a go at cleaning it up, see if we can do a little bit more with it, and then we'll post that up as well. So as far as I'm concerned, guys, we've done an hour and 17 minutes talking about a little ball of light that's just ping-ponged between 7 men. So I think we've exhausted that one. Do you?
We do, yes. I would agree.
We have for now. And hopefully, it's potentially going to be the start of something.
Yep,
maybe.
I would agree.
Yeah. I hope so. I really do hope so.
So, for almost 300 people listening, we'd really appreciate support, guys. We've just
thank you, guys.
As it is, and I'd like to say thank you, Jack. Thank you, Ian, and from myself, I'd like to say good night.
Good night. Everybody. Absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, wow.
Saw it twice, so I was like, oh my god.
That was just weird.
I always used to see a light coming up, like a headlight, but there was nobody there.
Oh, it's just disappeared.